I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Hannah's face at the altar, that radiant smile that now felt like a mask hiding something darker. By 6 a.m., I gave up and took another pregnancy test. Still positive, still pregnant with a married man's baby, still completely screwed. At exactly 1:47 p.m., I sat in my car outside Cafe Luna, hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles had gone white. The coffee shop looked deceptively normal, brick walls covered in concert posters, mismatched furniture, the same indie playlist that had been running since 2015. It was where Hannah and I had spent countless hours planning our futures over overpriced lattes. Now it was where she was going to destroy mine. My phone had been ominously quiet since last night's final threat. No mysterious messages, no cryptic warnings, just silence that felt more dangerous than any words could have been. Hannah was inside. I could see her through the window, sitting at our old table in the corner, looking perfectly composed while she sipped what appeared to be a vanilla latte with extra foam. The same drink she'd ordered every day junior year when she was stressed about her LSAT prep. I checked my reflection in the rearview mirror. Dark circles under my eyes, hair like I'd stuck my finger in an electrical socket, skin that screamed guilty conscience. Perfect for a confrontation about sleeping with my best friend's husband. The bell chimed as I entered, and I was hit with the familiar smell of burnt espresso and undergraduate desperation. Hannah looked up from her phone and smiled, the same warm, genuine smile she'd given me 1,000 times before. Except now it felt like looking at a beautiful snake. Mia, she stood up and hugged me like we were meeting for a casual catch-up, not a conversation that could end with my reputation in ruins. You look terrible. Rough night? You could say that. I ordered a decaf, because apparently I was responsible for someone else's nervous system now, and sat across from my best friend, my betrayer, my victim. The lines were so blurred I couldn't tell which of us was which anymore. So, Hannah said, settling back into her chair with that terrifying composure, how was the rest of the reception? I heard Aunt Linda broke out the karaoke machine. Hannah, my voice came out sharper than intended. Let's skip the small talk. You know why we're both here. Do I? She tilted her head like a curious bird. Refresh my memory. You said you knew about Jake and me, about everything. Hannah's smile widened. Oh, that. Yes, I know about your little affair. I know about Big Sir, the late-night phone calls, the sneaking around behind my back for months. She leaned forward, her voice dropping to something almost intimate. I also know you're pregnant. The words hit the air between us like a gunshot. Conversations around us continued. College students arguing about midterms, professionals typing frantically on laptops. But our corner felt suspended in time. If you are enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means a lot to us. We are just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. How long have you known? I asked. Which part? The affair or the pregnancy? Both. Hannah sat back, considering. The affair? I've suspected for weeks. Jake's a terrible liar, always has been. He gets this guilty look whenever your name comes up, like a kid caught stealing cookies. And you, she gestured at me with her latte. You've been acting like you're attending your own funeral every time we're all together. And the pregnancy? That's more recent. Yesterday morning, actually. I found the test in your purse when I was looking for breath mints before the ceremony. The world tilted. You went through my purse? It was sitting right there on the vanity. The corner was sticking out. Hannah shrugged. I wasn't snooping. I was just curious about what was making you act so strange. So you've known since yesterday morning. You knew when you walked down that aisle. You knew when you said your vows. You knew when you... I stopped, unable to finish the sentence. When I married the father of your baby. Hannah's voice was pleasant, conversational. Yes, I knew. Then why did you go through with it? Hannah's smile turned sharp. because I wanted to see how far you'd let me go. I wanted to see if you'd actually stand up there and watch me marry Jake while carrying his child. And you did, Mia. You stood there in that ridiculous dress and smiled and played your part perfectly. The casual cruelty in her voice made my stomach lurch. This isn't you, Hannah. This isn't who you are. Isn't it? How would you know who I am, Mia? You've been lying to me for months, sleeping with my boyfriend while helping me plan my wedding, pretending to be my friend while carrying his baby. Hannah's composure cracked slightly, letting something dangerous underneath show through. So tell me, who exactly do you think I am? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Look behind you. I turned around and felt my blood freeze. Through the front window, I could see Jake's BMW parked across the street. Jake was in the driver's seat, talking on his phone, his free hand running through his hair in that gesture I knew meant he was stressed. He had no idea we were in here. No idea his wife and the mother of his unborn child were having coffee 20 feet away from him. He's supposed to be at work, I whispered. He was, Hannah said calmly, until I called him 20 minutes ago and told him we needed to talk. He's waiting for me to come out so we can go home and discuss our marriage. You called him here. I wanted him close, for what comes next. My phone buzzed again. Another text. This is your last chance to come clean. Tell him yourself, or I will. I stared at the message, then at Hannah. You're going to tell him about the baby. I'm going to tell him a lot of things. Hannah finished her latte and set the cup down with deliberate precision. But first, I want to hear you say it. I want to hear you admit what you did. Hannah, say it. Her voice cut through the ambient noise of the cafe like a blade. Say you slept with my boyfriend. Say you're pregnant with his baby. Say you stood up at my wedding knowing you'd betrayed me in the worst possible way. The words stuck in my throat like stones. Around us, the cafe continued its normal rhythm. Orders being called out, laptops clicking, the espresso machine hissing. But our table had become its own isolated hell. I'm sorry, I whispered. That's not what I asked for. I slept with Jake. The admission came out in a rush. I'm pregnant with his baby. I stood up at your wedding knowing I'd betrayed you. Hannah nodded slowly. There. Was that so hard? What do you want from me, Hannah? You want me to grovel? You want me to disappear? Just tell me what you want. I want you to understand something, Hannah said, leaning forward. I didn't marry Jake despite knowing about you. I married him because of it. What? If you are enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means a lot to us. We are just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. Do you really think I'm that stupid, Mia? Do you think I don't know my own boyfriend well enough to see when he's falling for someone else? Hannah's voice was getting louder, drawing stares from nearby tables. I saw how he looked at you. I saw how you looked at him. I knew something was going to happen long before it did. Then why didn't you? Stop it! Break up with him, confront you, Hannah laughed, but there was no humor in it. Because I wanted to see what you'd do. I wanted to see if my best friend would actually go through with destroying my life. You never meant to get caught, Hannah corrected. There's a difference. My phone rang, cutting through our conversation. Jake's name flashed on the screen. Answer it, Hannah said. Put it on speaker. Hannah, don't answer it, or I walk out there and tell him everything myself. I swiped to accept the call with shaking fingers. Jake? Mia? Why are you? His voice was confused, strained. I can see you through the window. What's going on? Why are you with Hannah? Hannah grabbed my phone before I could respond. Hi, honey, having a nice chat with your baby mama. The silence on the other end of the line was deafening. Hannah, what are you talking about? Jake's voice was barely a whisper. Mia's pregnant, Jake. About 8 weeks along. Congratulations, you're going to be a daddy. Hannah's voice was bright, cheerful, like she was announcing a surprise party instead of detonating a nuclear bomb. Through the window, I could see Jake's face go white. His phone slipped from his hand and clattered onto the dashboard. "Oops," Hannah said. "I think we lost him." The cafe had gone completely quiet around us. Everyone was staring now, some recording on their phones, others whispering behind their hands. We were about to become viral content, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. "Why are you doing this?" I asked. "Because you deserve each other," Hannah said simply. "You and Jake. You're both selfish, lying, cowardly people who take what you want and don't care who gets hurt in the process. You deserve to be stuck with each other." Jake burst through the cafe door like a man possessed, his hair disheveled, his wedding suit wrinkled from sleeping in it. He looked between Hannah and me like he was trying to solve a puzzle that might kill him. "Is it true?" he asked, his voice hoarse. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. Jake sank into the empty chair at our table, his face in his hands. "Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ." "Language, honey," Hannah said sweetly. "You're going to be a father. You should practice cleaning up your mouth." "How long have you known?" Jake asked, looking up at his wife. "About the affair." "Weeks. About the pregnancy. Since yesterday morning." Hannah's smile was razor sharp. "I found the test in Mia's purse before the ceremony." Jake stared at her. "You knew yesterday. You knew when you said your vows?" "I said them to you, didn't I? I promised to love, honor, and cherish you. I didn't promise to trust you. Good thing, considering." The casual cruelty in her voice seemed to break something in Jake. "Hannah, I'm so sorry. I never meant for this to happen. It was a mistake. All of it was a mistake." "Which part was the mistake, Jake? Sleeping with my best friend, or getting her pregnant, or marrying me while lying about both?" Hannah's composure was starting to crack now, her voice rising. "Or was the mistake getting caught?" "All of it," Jake said desperately. "All of it was a mistake. I love you, Hannah. I've always loved you." "No, you don't." Hannah stood up abruptly, shouldering her purse. "You love the idea of me. You love that I'm safe and predictable, and that I made it easy for you to avoid making real choices about your life. But you don't love me." "That's not true." "Then why did you sleep with her?" Hannah pointed at me like I was evidence in a murder trial. "Why did you risk everything we had for someone who was supposed to be my friend?" Jake looked at me, then back at Hannah, his mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. "I don't know," he said finally. "Well, that's honest at least." Hannah slung her purse over her shoulder. "I'm filing for divorce on Monday. My lawyer will be in touch." "Hannah, wait." "No." She turned back to him, and for the first time since this conversation started, I saw the real Hannah underneath the composed mask. She looked heartbroken, exhausted, human. "I gave you 2 years, Jake. 2 years to figure out what you wanted, and you chose her. Maybe not consciously, maybe not deliberately, but you chose her." "I chose you," Jake said desperately. "I married you." "You married me because it was easier than admitting you were in love with someone else." Hannah's voice was quiet now, almost gentle. "And Mia let you because she was too much of a coward to fight for what she wanted." The accusation hit me like a physical blow. "That's not—" "Isn't it?" Hannah turned that piercing gaze on me. "You had feelings for him before we even started dating. I remember you talking about him after that first group hangout, how funny he was, how smart. But you never said anything. You just stepped back and let me have him. If you are enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means a lot to us. We are just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. You were my best friend, and you were mine, which makes this so much worse." Hannah's voice cracked slightly. "You could have had him, Mia. If you'd been honest about your feelings from the beginning, you could have had him. Instead, you waited until he was mine and then took him anyway." The truth of it was like a knife between my ribs. She was right. I had stepped back. I had let her have Jake because it was easier than risking our friendship. then putting myself out there, then admitting what I wanted. And then I'd taken him anyway, in the cruelest possible way. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I know you are," Hannah said sadly. "But sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't give me back the last 2 years of my life. Sorry doesn't make yesterday's wedding anything other than an elaborate lie." She turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and Mia? That video of our conversation? It's already been uploaded to 3 different social media platforms. You're trending on Twitter." My blood turned to ice. "What video?" Hannah nodded toward a corner table where a college student was pointing his phone directly at us, a huge grin on his face. "Jeremy's been live streaming this whole thing. Aren't you, Jeremy?" The kid, Jeremy, apparently, gave us a thumbs up. "This is better than reality TV. The pregnant mistress, the betrayed wife, the cheating husband. It's got everything." "You're going to be famous," Hannah told me conversationally. "All 3 of us are. The wedding scandal of the century. I'm sure your publisher will love the publicity." She walked toward the door, then turned back one final time. "Take care of each other," she said, and there was something almost like pity in her voice. "You're all you've got now." The door chimed as she left, and I was alone with Jake while half the internet watched us implode in real time. Jake stared after his wife, ex-wife, like she'd taken his soul with her. "She's right," he said quietly, "about all of it. I did choose you, maybe not consciously, but—" "Don't," I said quickly. "Don't say something you'll regret later." "What if I won't regret it?" The question hung between us like a challenge, like a promise, like a threat. My phone was buzzing nonstop with notifications, Twitter mentions, Instagram tags, friend requests from strangers. We were viral. Our personal disaster was entertainment for thousands of people who didn't know us and didn't care about the wreckage they were watching. "We should go," I said, "before this gets worse." "How could it get worse?" As if on cue, my phone rang. The caller ID made my stomach drop. Mom. I looked at Jake, who had gone pale again. "She's seen it. My mom has seen it." "Don't answer," Jake said quickly. But before I could decline the call, it went to voicemail. Then my phone started ringing again immediately. This time it was my sister Cassie. Then my dad. Then my boss. Then numbers I didn't recognize, probably reporters. "Oh God," I whispered. "This is really happening. This is really, actually happening." Jake reached for my hand across the table, and for a moment it felt like we were drowning together. "We'll figure this out," he said. "We'll figure out how to fix this." "How do you fix something like this, Jake? How do you fix destroying 3 lives in front of half the internet?" Before he could answer, Jeremy the live streamer appeared at our table, still holding his phone. "Excuse me," he said cheerfully. "My viewers want to know if you guys are going to get together now that the wife is out of the picture. Also, do you have any advice for other people thinking about having affairs? You're kind of inspiring to watch." I stared at him. "Inspiring?" "Yeah, like you guys followed your hearts, even though it was messy. That's pretty romantic when you think about it." Jake stood up so fast his chair fell over. "Get that camera out of our faces before I break it." "Whoa, dude, chill. This is public property. I can film whatever I want." Jeremy backed away but kept recording. "Are you threatening me? Because that would be assault, and my viewers are witnessing it." "Jake, don't," I said, grabbing his arm. "It'll just make it worse." But Jake was beyond reason. 2 days of stress and lies and secrets had finally broken whatever was left of his self-control. He lunged for Jeremy's phone, and suddenly we were the center of a very public altercation being broadcast live to thousands of people. "Get off me!" Jeremy shouted, spinning away from Jake, while somehow keeping his camera focused on us. "He's attacking me! The cheating husband is attacking me!" The cafe erupted in chaos. Chairs scraped against the floor as people stood up to get a better view. More phones appeared, recording from every angle. Someone was shouting about calling the police. And through it all, I sat frozen at our table, watching my life become a spectacle. This was what rock bottom looked like. Viral fame for all the wrong reasons. a best friend who'd turned into an enemy, a married man having a breakdown in a coffee shop, and a pregnancy that was about to make everything infinitely more complicated. My phone buzzed with one final notification. A text from Hannah. "Enjoy the show! You earned it!" I looked up to see her standing outside the cafe window, watching the chaos she'd orchestrated with something that might have been satisfaction or might have been grief. Then she turned and walked away, leaving Jake and me to face the consequences of our choices alone. The police arrived 7 minutes later,